Safety and our safety.
Thank you very much, Minister. I think I need to mention that the exponential rise in the number of South Africans who test positive for COVID-19 is unnerving everybody in the country. And as you know, most of the positives came from people from countries regarded as epicenters of the disease. So it is to be expected that many South Africans will be suspicious and be on their tenterhooks whenever they come across anybody who is from such a country or even remotely suspected to be coming from such a country. So I think before I mention the measures after tomorrow night, it will be prudent for me to deal with some of the issues which are trending on social media in the past few days, because I think this is very important, specifically regarding Chinese and Japanese nationals. Over the weekend, social media were awash with pictures of supposed Chinese people inside the building at the Lebombo border post on the Mozambican side. By the way, the Mozambican side is called Resano Garcia. These Chinese were supposed to be buying their way into South Africa through corrupt Home Affairs officials. And they were doing so because they were supposed to have been refused entry at the O.R. Tambo International Airport, and they are supposed to have flown to Mozambique with the purpose of coming to South Africa via land and buying their way through. I want to state categorically that the pictures that were making rounds were not from the Resano Garcia or Lebombo border post. Some of us who have been there could see immediately. And I want to read one of the posts. Chinese here entering South Africa via Mozambique after O.R. Tambo denied them entry. Our country is a banana republic. These Chinese nationals are buying their way into the country. Where is Home Affairs and the police? This is treasonous. I want to state categorically that this is fake news. That picture was not taken in Resano Garcia. We even went to an extent of asking the manager of that post. We sent him the pictures, and he confirmed that this is not his area, those who have seen the pictures. Now, you have been told that fake news is a criminal offense. Now, here is somebody who's calling our country a banana republic and saying the country is acting treasonously when the person knows that the picture they are sending around is photoshopped. Now, what are the true facts? The true facts are that on Friday, 20th March, an aircraft carrying 150 people landed at O.R. Tambo International Airport. It was definitely from China. Amongst them, there were 80 South African students who were allowed to disembark, and they are being quarantined in Kuruleni, as Minister Blade Nzimane said yesterday. But there were also 70 Chinese on board. They were indeed refused entry, but they couldn't go to Mozambique because, remember, Mozambique was already closed for any aircraft from South Africa. So they were instructed to go back from China, and their aircraft indeed departed O.R. Tambo International Airport at 15:01, 1 minute past 3, on that very same Friday, 20 March 2020. It landed with all of them on board at Shenzhen in China at 08:50 on Sunday, the 21st of March, before continuing to Beijing on the same day. So it was with shock that some of us saw this picture that they are in Mozambique, because the air traffic controllers showed us pictures when they followed them until they passed Madagascar airspace, and we know that we were gone. So by some magic, they are back in Mozambique buying their way out through corrupt officials. Now, I want to state here that these fake news tend to be more dangerous sometimes, even as much as the virus itself, because it worries people. So because of this, and because we are in possession of the original source of the pictures, I've instructed my officials to go and lay a charge with the police. And this is the first test case of whether fake news, people posting fake news can be charged or not. We are going to charge these ones. And we have identified at least 3 of them. The second story was about Japanese. On Sunday, the 27th of March, another story went viral on social media, and I think it was driven by the first one, showing what fake news can do to people. Because there was this belief about Chinese which were not there. The second story was very unfortunate, about Japanese who also flew into Mozambique and were buying their way through the Lebombo border post. When they were on their way to OR Tambo, they were stopped at Matata. This was a very unfortunate event. The Japanese who were accosted were 24 in number. Where do they come from? They are employees of the Japanese Cooperation Agency. They've been in Mozambique since May last year. They never went anywhere. They never left Mozambique. They were due to leave in May this year because they are on a one-way contract. On March 20th, the embassy of Japan asked for assistance of the Republic of South Africa to facilitate their transit through OR Tambo to go back to Japan. And because Japan is not on the list of high-risk countries, this request, which went through DECO, was acceded to. And we arrived, and they even sent us the list and individual profiles of each one of them. When they arrived at the border post, they were checked against the list given by the Japan embassy. And it was found that they were same people, and they were let through. I think police were led by members of the public. And I must praise the police for acting. I'm not condemning them, even though it was unfortunate. They were acting in accordance with the rules, that because they were told that these are Chinese and they are not allowed in the country. But after it has been explained to them, they allowed them to pass, and indeed they left for Japan on 03:30 on the 23rd of March, and they landed in Japan. Now let me come back to the lockdown. For Home Affairs, there are 2 issues: the issue of travel and the issue of issuing documents. For travel, we wish to report, as you remember, when the Commander-in-Chief, President Ramaphosa, declared the country to be in a state of disaster, we closed I'm having some disturbance because I'm hearing something when I thought everything is quiet. We closed 35 border posts and we're left with 18. Now, I want you to understand very well. During that time, there was no lockdown, and that's why we allowed the 13 border posts to continue normally. Now there is a lockdown. People are not going to move. So we have taken a decision that the remaining 18 border posts will continue to allow movement of goods and essential services, but will be totally closed to the movement of people. Let me repeat this. In the 18 border posts, because I remember there was a headline about Beit Bridge, including Beit Bridge, they will continue conveying goods between South Africa and our neighboring countries, but no human beings will be allowed there for the next 21 days. Those who are coming into South Africa, we are aware that there are many nationals in our neighboring country who get health care from South Africa. They will make a special arrangements with Home Affairs to come and make use of our health services, both public and private. So it will be a special arrangement. Otherwise, ordinarily, there will be no movement of people around our borders. Now, the civic division deal with essential documents, and when I came here, I had some people asking through the radio, through one of the radio stations, what Home Affairs is going to offer. I think it's good for me to answer that question. Home Affairs will have a skeleton staff, and for the purpose of issuing 2 types of documents, and only 2, unless there is some emergency which I could not yet fathom. Firstly, Home Affairs will issue temporary IDs for those who have lost their IDs and need to make transactions, for instance, maybe with the bank or any other transaction that is essential during these 21 days. So it's only a temporary ID. There will be no application for new IDs during these 21 days. So only those who apply for a replacement because theirs is lost. Secondly, we'll issue replacement birth certificates to those who lost them. For instance, if a child needs child support from SASSA and they've lost their birth certificate and SASSA wants it, we will issue that. It is important for me to mention why only these two documents. We are issuing them because it's safe to do so. Because they are repeats, we can easily check them against HANIS or Home Affairs National Identification System, which is a biometric system. And we can also easily check them against the NPR, which is the National Population Register. Anybody who is applying for an ID afresh or a birth certificate afresh, because they are not on HANIS, they are not on the National Population Register, we won't be able to serve them until the 21 days are over. It won't be safe because we'll issue documents to wrong people. Lastly, I actually said two documents, I'm correcting myself. There's a third one, a death certificate. We'll issue death certificate as we have normally done even before the lockdown, because during that period, people might need to bury the dead and we could not punish them. So death certificate will be issued as they were. We won't issue passports at all. I'm just repeating because I've mentioned the three documents that will be, but for emphasis, we won't issue passports at all because there's no movement of people anywhere. We won't issue any new ID. We won't issue any new birth certificate. We won't issue any marriage certificate, new or old, because there won't be any emergency. You can wait until the 21 days. Maybe the 21 days will also give you time to think whether you want to get married or not. It will be a good time to reflect. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, the government printing works falls under Home Affairs. All these documents I've mentioned are printed by the government printing works, including some government cassettes and some other government documents. So for that reason, government printing works will remain with skeleton staff for the purpose of printing all these documents, which I said will be printed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. The next minister we are going to